Fair use. Daily Reflections. This is a book of reflections by AA members for AA members. November 23rd. Hold your face to the light. Believe more deeply. Hold your face up to the light, even though for the moment you do not see. As Bill sees it, page 3. One Sunday in October, during my morning meditation, I glanced out the window at the ash tree in our front yard. At once I was overwhelmed by its magnificent golden color. As I stared in awe at God's work of art, the leaves began to fall, and within minutes the branches were bare. Sadness came over me as I thought of the winter months ahead. But just as I was reflecting on autumn's annual process, God's message came through. Like the trees, stripped of their leaves in the fall, sprout new blossoms in the spring. I had had my compulsive, selfish ways removed by God in order for me to blossom into a sober, joyful member of AA. Thank you, God, for the changing seasons and for my ever-changing life. Courage to Change, One Day at a Time in Al-Anon, November 23rd. How often have I had a dream I longed to pursue, but quit before I started because it seemed too enormous a task to attempt. Going back to school, moving, taking a trip, changing jobs. All these and many other goals can seem overwhelming at first. Al-Anon reminds me to keep it simple. Instead of approaching the task as a whole, I can simplify it by taking only one step at a time. I can gather information and do nothing more. Then, when I'm ready, I can take the project further. That takes some of the pressure off having to know all the answers and solve every problem that may arise before I've even begun. I am also free to try something and then change my mind. I do not have to make a lifetime commitment before I even know whether or not my goal is desirable. My plans may involve many actions and many risks, but I don't have to tackle them all today. I can take my time and move step by step at my own pace. By focusing on one thing at a time, the impossible can become likely if I keep it simple. Today's reminder: with the help of Al-Anon and my higher power, I am capable of many things I could not even have considered before. I may even be capable of pursuing my heart's desire. There is a quote from Eugene F. Ware, and it reads, "All glory comes from daring to begin." Just for today, Daily Meditations for Recovering Addicts, November 23rd. God's Will. The relief of letting go and letting God helps us develop a life that is worth living. Basic text, page 26. In our addiction, we were afraid of what might happen if we didn't control everything around us. Many of us made up elaborate lies to protect our use of drugs. Some of us manipulated everyone around us in a frenzied attempt to get something from them so we could use more drugs. A few of us went to great lengths to keep two people from talking to each other and perhaps discovering our trail of lies. We took pains to maintain an illusion of control over our addiction and our lives. In the process, We kept ourselves from experiencing the serenity that comes with surrender to a higher power's will. In our recovery, it is important to release our illusion of control and surrender to a higher power, whose will for us is better than anything we can manipulate, or devise for ourselves. If we realize that we are trying to control outcomes and are feeling afraid of the future, there is action we can take to reverse that trend. We go to our second and third steps and look at what we have come to believe about a higher power. Do we truly believe that this power can care for us and restore us to sanity? If so, we can live with all of life's ups and downs, its disappointments, its sorrows, its wonders, and its joys. Just for today, I will surrender and let a higher power's will happen in my life. I will accept the gift of serenity this surrender brings. Today, Emotions Anonymous, November 23rd. Using the slogan, "Look for the good," has changed my whole attitude toward people, places, and things. Before EA, my motto was "Look for the bad." I found flaws in everything. When I saw the negative, I never considered the positive. Now, if some negative thought pops up, I try to replace it with a positive one. If something negative outside myself comes my way, I try to let it flow past instead of through me. Meditation for today. Let me feel pleasure in my friendships and activities by dwelling on the positives they add to my life. Today I will remember, look for the good. It is there. Strengthening my recovery. Meditations for adult children of alcoholics, dysfunctional families. November 23rd. Self-sabotage. By keeping the focus on ourselves, we will find freedom from our critical self as well as our addictive and destructive behaviors. BRB page 304. Many of us learned to victimize ourselves with self-destructive behaviors. We were taught to devalue ourselves early on and had to join in our own victimization as a way to survive. Unfortunately, the survival mechanisms we learned in order to cope hurt us just as deeply now as they did in the past. Maybe even more so. Why? Because as adults we feel we should be able to change things at will, but without the necessary skills and insight, this is almost impossible. In ACA, we learn that no matter when or how our destructive behaviors and thoughts started, we are capable of experiencing new ways of being. But we don't do it alone. We invite our higher power and other ACAs to join us on our healing journey. When we have enough faith in ourselves to move in this direction, we become ready to release our self-destructive behavior. As part of this process, we begin to grieve and heal the losses we've experienced, both because of our own actions and the actions of those who raised us. We learn to give ourselves unconditional love and draw upon the energy of other ACAs, and our higher power. We embrace this positive support system that can get us through our darkest days. The affirmation reads, "On this day, I will release any negative energy so that I am able to make the change I want and deserve in my life." Please share, subscribe, like, and most of all, be the you that you are created to be. If you are unsure of your purpose and your path, give yourself the grace to take the time and find out. You are worth it and you are worthy. Remember that you are not alone and that recovery is possible, one day at a time.